So going into November, I had high expectations for this season. I had the chance to hunt a couple new properties and really get in and spend some time in the woods. One thing that I wanted to do and take advantage of this year was use some scent attractants and do some calling just to see what kind of deer activity I could actually produce. So going into that first week, I set up on a farm that I've hunted for a few years now. I threw down some doe and estrus scent, and within 30 minutes to 45 minutes, I had a young buck come in. It was really cool to see that buck react to the scent. He came straight in about 20 yards to me, but he just wasn't quite mature enough for what I was looking for. So I sat there the rest of the night, had a few does, came back out the next day, same spot, threw down another doe and estrus, and once again, by the end of that hunt, I had 2 young bucks come in. So I knew that it was the right time of year to be out in the woods and be hitting it hard. So after taking a few days off, I headed over to my buddy's farm on November 10th to set up. I went in before dark, got back to that same stand, and as soon as I could see first light, I hit the rattle bag.
I just had a shooter come in. Right at first light, I wasn't sure if there were branches in the way, so I didn't shoot. 32 yards, man.
I wasn't quite sure if I had him on camera, and I wasn't quite sure if the shooting lane was 100% clear, so I did make the judgment to pass on that deer. Shortly after that, the woods just came alive. It was pretty amazing, really. I saw bucks chasing does. I saw mature deer just kind of working through the woods. This is a really great spot to be on a cold November morning. About an hour into the hunt, I saw a mature buck walking about 80 yards in front of me from my right to left. And I gave him a little grunt. He didn't respond. But about 50 yards behind him was an even bigger buck. So as soon as I could get my eyes on him, I gave him a grunt, and he almost broke his neck when he heard it. As soon as I had his attention, that's all he cared about. He worked his way in. He was probably about 40 yards from me and just started tearing up this tree and these vines. At that point, I knew that he was either going to go to my left, or I may have had a few small openings, or he was going to come to my right, which would have actually been right out in front of me. So I started getting the camera ready. I moved it to where I thought he may go, had my bow in my hand, and as soon as he stepped out, it was about 25-yard shot. I smoked him. The only problem was the shot was a little back. He took off maybe 15, 20 yards and just stood there. And after watching the video back, I did notice that he was real hunched over, so my guess at that time was a liver shot. He stood there, and it felt like an eternity. I thought this deer was just gonna stand there forever. So he took a few more steps and decided he was gonna bed down. At that point, I knew that this deer was gonna expire, and I just harvested my first ever mature whitetail deer. My heart was pounding. I had a million emotions going through me. I could not wait to tell all my friends, my wife, everybody. This was like my 2019 season played out to everything I expected and more. to thank you for joining us on this journey and allowing us to share our experiences through our cinematic storytelling known as the hunt. Boom. I'm out.